what is the application process for studying in US, and what all things and requirements, rules and regulations are there for particular universities, which all exams a student have to give for getting an admission into a US university, particularly for masters.
Yeah, thankfully, it's not too crazy to apply and study in America. And really, you could easily do it yourself. It's very possible to apply to study in America by yourself. The first thing is the entrance exams. So for master's students, that's either going to be the GRE or the GMAT, depending on the course in the college, but you can easily look those up online based on the course you want to study. And for undergrad, it's the SAT or ACT. Mostly SATs are preferred with international students, but those are the kind of entrance exams. And once you have your score, you kind of know what kind of college and ranking you could potentially apply to. And then once you've got your score, you fill out the application, and then you're going to send in several things. You're going to send in a transcript, a resume, the SOP, which is your statement of purpose, LORs, which is the letters of recommendation, and then you also need an English proficiency test, the TOEFL or IELTS. Most people do TOEFL. Some colleges accept both. And then that should basically be everything you need to apply to America.
Yeah. So in Germany, the system is like there is a DAAD portal, DAAD, so where we get all the information related to universities in Germany. So after a student selects the universities from the DAAD portal, he can apply directly, like the information regarding the university links are provided over there. So the student can then proceed further with his application process. And apart from DAAD portal, there's some application process which takes place through the UniAssist portal. So these are the two, like the portals where most of the application process for universities takes place. And there are some private university which have their own websites, so there you can directly apply. For US also, is it so? Like there is a DART portal for US, I mean, DART portal for US, I mean, like portal which is particularly for the US universities where one can select the universities and go on.
Not that I'm aware of. I think you have to do individually through the college websites.
Mhm.
I know there's consultancies and coaching groups that you can apply through them, and then they'll forward your application to the universities.
Mhm.
But I'm not aware of a one place where you apply to any university you want in America. It's more you apply directly to the university.
University. Okay. Yeah. And in Germany, particularly IELTS, this is the exam which is mostly taken for the universities. Yeah, alternative is you can also give TOEFL, GRE, GMAT. These are the requirements, but it changes from course to course and university to university. As you said, like some universities may ask and some universities may not. But particularly for English language proficiency, IELTS and TOEFL, these are the exams which you can opt for if you want to study in Germany. This point is very important considering a student. So what are the job opportunities for students in US, considering mini jobs as well as the full-time opportunities? And what are the monthly expenses as a student? So we'll go step by step. First, we'll discuss about the job opportunities. We'll compare between US and Germany regarding this.
Yeah, sounds good. One unique thing about America with a lot of international students is students cannot just go get a basic job at a random place. There's specific requirements on their F1 student visa on what is eligible work and what's not eligible. So they can get on-campus jobs, and that can range from everything. It can be a teaching assistant or research assistant. It can be working in the fitness center. It could be working in the parking group where you give people parking tickets or challenge. It could be working in an office or department. So there's lots of on-campus in dining services and, in the restaurants. So there's lots of on-campus jobs, which are illegal, which are legal, and they earn anywhere from $8 to $15 an hour. I know, and some places in the US, if you get an on-campus job as like a teaching assistant or grad assistant, that also might earn you some scholarship or discount in tuition on top of your basic salary. So that's on-campus job, and those are pretty available. It's in some good universities with a lot of students, it can be pretty competitive, especially that first semester. So it might not be until your second semester or the summer break where it's easier to get an on-campus job. Off-campus jobs are what's considered illegal, working at a gas station, a motel, a restaurant, something like that. And, it's highly not recommended. Some students get in trouble and get deported, so I do not recommend that. It's not worth the risk. And then there's the full-time employment. There's CPT, which is an internship, the curricular practical training, and that is the internship you do while you're studying. You can do a full-time job, 40 hours a week. There's part-time CPT, 20 hours a week, and there's a certain number of hours you can do of, CPT during your course of study. But you can also do it simultaneously while taking classes or doing it during the summer break. But that's a great way to get experience, build your resume, earn money. CPT jobs, some people, especially in technical fields, can earn, 20, 25, 30, up to $50 an hour, depending on what you're studying. So that definitely helps with pocket money, even paying off some tuition loans.
Mhm.
And then the full-time jobs after you graduate is the OPT, the optional practical training. Every F1 student gets 1 year of OPT,
Mhm.
no matter what you're studying. And then the STEM students, science, technology, engineering, math, which is most international students, are available to do a 2-year extension. So they're eligible for up to 3 years of OPT work, before their F1 visa ends up. And, within that time, they're either trying to get a different type of visa, like an H-1B, or, you get to go back home to your home country. But it's very possible, even just within a year of full-time work in America, to be able to pay off those tuition loans.
Okay. Yeah. Now, considering Germany, here, if you want to work part-time, so you can work 240 half days or 120 full days. So in every week, you can work up to 20 hours per week, and you can divide your time likewise. Like if you can work 4 hours per day, or you can divide your time like 5 hours per day for 4 days or so on. So, but 20 hours per day per week is the system here in Germany. And if you want to work like in US, is it like we have to work in universities? And so here in Germany, you can also work outside the universities in restaurants or cafes. And you can also here you can work in as a delivery boy. Like there are many jobs. These are some examples, but outside the universities, you can work. There are no restrictions for that, but you just have to maintain the barrier of 20 hours per week and like 120 full days or 240 half days a year. And if you want to work like 40 hours per week, so that is possible during the semester break. But again, you have to maintain the calculation of 120 full days and 240 half days. Now,
Mm-hmm.
the wage rate is for the student is you can earn in Munich, it is a bit high because it depends upon the cities also. So the bigger the city, the bigger the opportunities and the pay is also more. So averagely you can get from 9.8 euros to more. So for like cafes and restaurants, it starts from 9.8 euros. Like some of my friends, they are working in a warehouse, so they are earning like 12.5 euros per hour. So this is the thing, but if you're working in a company as a part-time job, like 20 hours per week, so it is called as working student. So for
Mm-hmm.
that, the pay is a bit high. So there usually you can earn from 13 euros per hour to 22 euros or 20 euros per hour. So the wage rate depends upon the company, how big is the company you're working for. And internships, you are free to take semester breaks. You can drop one semester. In that semester you can do an internship, and in internship the pay is slightly more because you have to work completely full day in an internship,
Mm-hmm.
and in internship you get monthly salary. So monthly it's around 1600 euros to 2000 euros per month. And from this there are deductions for taxes and everything. In university also you can work as a student assistant or a research assistant, and there are a concept of hiwi. So it is a kind of job where you get a fixed payment of 450 euros. It is a small job, mini job, and for that you have to work like 8 to 10 hours per week. So these are the opportunities you can explore. And for like full-time employments, you get 18 months of job search visa after your degree is over, master's degree. In those 18 months you can search a full-time job, and this is all regarding the full-time job. Coming towards the cost of living, so what is the cost of living for students in US? What are the monthly expenses, or we can say monthly expenditures for a student?
Yeah, that definitely varies a lot on where you're at, for a big city to a small town. A lot of universities in America are sometimes in more of a small town versus like a big city. Some of the better ones are more in like what they call a college town. So for example, here in Dallas, students will pay on average anywhere from $1,200 to $1,500 a month in rent.
Okay.
But they'll split it between several guys.
Mhm.
Um, and then with groceries and things like that, I feel like most students pay anywhere from $500 to $1,000 a month in monthly expenses,
Mhm.
for rent, grocery, utilities,
Mhm.
cell phone, internet. You know, there's some more expensive housing. On-campus housing is way more expensive. It's the off-campus housing, which tends to be cheaper. And depending on how many roommates you want, if you want a private room or a shared room. But in Dallas, most students have a budget of, $500 to $800 a month for their living expenses. But like in Boston or New York,
Mhm.
the universities there, or like the Bay Area, rent is double or triple. So, it's like $3,000 to $4,000 a month for an apartment. And per person, they're paying $700 to $800 a month just for rent, which is the total monthly expenses here in Dallas. Um, so they might be having more of $1,500 $2,000 a month, for monthly expenses in a really big city like that. And then in smaller towns, it might even be cheaper. You might only have to have three, four, $500 a month, for your bare minimum monthly expenses. So it can definitely range depending on how expensive the city you live in.
Yeah, completely agreed. Like it depends upon the city also. Like I'm living in Munich. So Munich is the most expensive city in Germany. So the accommodation here is a bit expensive. Not only the accommodation, but the standard of living, the prices of grocery items, everything is expensive. So if I talk
Hmm.
about accommodation, particularly on an average, it depends upon the city to city. But if I compare Munich, so for Munich, it is a bit expensive. Like it ranges from 600 to 1,000 euros or even more per semester, per month. And
Hmm.
for other cities, like it varies from 300 to 500 per month. But as I am living in a government dormitory, so I'm living in a government accommodation. So for government accommodation, the rent is quite less, comparatively half of what the other students give. So, for example, if I tell my expenses, I pay 300 on rent, 100 on my food, and so on. So, if I completely calculate this, the amount is around 550 to 600 euros per month in Munich. But it is not so. But for other students, they pay more because they are living in private apartments and so on. So,
Hmm.
for them, it is a bit expensive. I would say very expensive. And in other cities, like which are small, like close to some village or something where the development is not too much, the city is there's no relatively no companies or something in that city or in that village. So there the housing rent is way cheaper, the food expenses are also cheap. So comparatively the rent is also, and the overall expenses for month are way less than other cities. So generally Munich, Berlin, Frankfurt, Hamburg, these are the top cities where the rent is the major chunk of money you pay for. And also, the other thing is the health insurance. You're obliged to pay health insurance as a student. So monthly you have to pay 105 euros for your health insurance. So that is compulsory. You have to pay that. That is a government rule.
Hmm.
So that is another sum of money that is added to your monthly expenditure. Now, this was all related to the expenses.